I wonder if you've ever eaten with dirty hands. I confess, I'm a girl guide and I've camped in many, many fields and it's been muddy. And my hands, although I might have washed them, may not have been the cleanest things when I was eating outside. I wonder if any of you have experienced that. When I went to the Gambia, washing hands was very important, especially certain hands. They would only shake your right hand. They would only take money from your right hand because the left hand was the one that was used for wiping yourself after you'd been to the toilet. So if you offered anybody your left hand, it was considered a big insult. And you certainly weren't allowed around the communal pot of food unless you had thoroughly washed your hands. I suspect more recently, we've all washed our hands a lot more, maybe more than we ever used to wash them before. Since the pandemic, we've been encouraged to wash our hands regularly for at least 20 seconds. And it's not just a dip in a bit of this and a shake them off and dry them. It's a proper wash for 20 seconds. And you're encouraged to sing a song such as Happy Birthday. Apologies in advance for my singing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Now, I don't know about you. I was certainly doing that, maybe not the singing part, but I was certainly doing that full wash using in between my fingers, my thumbs, my wrists, the back and the front of my hand regularly at the start of the pandemic. But I wonder how many of you are still doing it now. How many of you are still singing a song or saying something, but perhaps it's got quicker and quicker each time you've done it. Or maybe you've been washing them without actually washing them. So you come in, you run them under the tap, sprinkle them off, and then wipe them, done. Not worried about the 20 seconds, so that is important. Not necessarily worried about the soap, so that is also important. Maybe not even worrying about getting in between each of your fingers and round your thumb and your wrists. All of that is important. But I suspect many of us now it's a ritual. We come in, we wash our hands, but perhaps we don't do it to the same extent that we used to. Have we become dedicated to the fact that it's a ritual that we must wash our hands rather than why we're doing it and therefore we're not doing it properly? This is what happened to the Pharisees in today's reading. They become so obsessed with a ritual and doing the ritual that they'd forgotten why they were doing it in the first place. The things we do often start really practical, but then they become a ritual. And once they become a ritual, it's very difficult to change things. When I was training at Queen's, we were told a story about a ritual, and it always used to make me smile. The story went something like this. There was a monastery, and at the monastery, the monks kept a cat on a string. When that cat died, they brought another one and put it on the same string. After a few months, an elderly monk who'd been there a long time asked why they had put the new cat on the string. The response from the younger monks was, well, there's always been a cat on a string here. It's what we've always done. The elderly monk replied, well, no, the previous cat was blind and deaf. The string made sure that it didn't get lost and it didn't get stuck and it didn't hurt itself. The string was to keep it limited to safe places. But your new cat is neither deaf nor blind. It doesn't need to be on a string. Sometimes we do things because we've always done them that way, but perhaps we've even forgotten why we were doing them in the first place. like that cat on a string. We know why we wash our hands. We know we should do it for 20 seconds. We know we should get in between all the fingers. But if we keep doing it for years and years, the rest of our lives, will people in the future remember why we're doing it, or just that we do it? And I think in church, we can be a bit guilty of this too. We do certain things in a certain way because they've always been done that way. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but we need to ask ourselves, why are we doing them? And why are we doing them that way? And if the answer is because we've always done them that way, that's probably a time to have a really close look at what we're doing. The way that we do things may have worked at the time we started doing them, but perhaps it no longer works. We may have forgotten why we do them. We've lost the meaning because it has become so ingrained. Ask yourself the next time you're in a church building and you're doing something, why do we do that? And why do we do it that way? It's interesting sometimes to ask people and ask yourself, why do we do it? I wonder what you see when you look in a mirror. I can see myself and the rest of my house reflected in my mirror. I've disappeared behind it now. I can see the ceiling reflected in my mirror. Hopefully, when you look in your own mirror, you see a reflection of yourself. Do you like what you see when you look in the mirror? Does it really tell who you are? Of course, when I ask if you like what you see, you're probably thinking about your physical appearance. I, for example, I'm overweight, I've got a double chin, and when I hate looking in the mirror because it reminds me of that, but it's not the mirror's fault, it's mine. I need to eat less food. When I ask you to look in the mirror and ask if you like what you see, I'm not trying to make you feel bad about your physical appearance. I'm not asking you to wish that you looked different. I'm encouraging you to take a closer look at yourself and your church, both inside and outside. There is always more to what we can see than what's on the outside. What we see physically reflected in the mirror, what's on the outside doesn't always match what's on the inside. And in the gospel reading, Jesus is defending his friends against the Pharisees. He counters their argument that the disciples are eating with unwashed hands by calling them hypocrites, because they find fault in others, but they have inconsistencies themselves. Jesus holds up a mirror to them, to the way that they observe their faith. In today's world, being religious or doing something religiously often has a negative feel to it. It reminds us of people who do things in a religious way because it's more important than their authentic faith. Not everybody, but that is how the word is genuinely seen. For the Pharisees in today's reading, their outward observance of the law was more important than what was going on inside them, in their hearts and in their minds. So I'm going to hold that same mirror up to myself and to all of you. Are we hypocrites? Let Jesus hold a mirror up to each one of us and to our churches, to our rituals. Does what we see in the mirror reflect what is going on inside? Do we say that we're Christian on the outside, but then we fall out with other people? We think badly of them. We're unforgiving. Do we say that we love our neighbour, but we're not actually interested in them? We're not willing to hear their side. Do we claim to love God, but only we come to church because it's a habit, a ritual, where we focus on the things that we like and worship, rather than sitting in God's presence, listening for God's voice? What are the things that are actually important to us? Now, the mirror is a really difficult thing to hold up to ourselves, and it's even harder at times to be honest about the things that we hide, our inner thoughts and feelings, which mean what we say and do outwardly isn't the truth. We're not being honest. In Jesus' words, we're being hypocrites. This isn't just about us personally, it is about the church too. If we hold a mirror up to our chapels, to our church, what do we see? The one I hear the most often is, we are a welcoming church. We hold the mirror up to see if this is true. Ask yourself if you always say that about your church. Is anyone welcome through that door? Do you make everyone welcome? Or are some people bombarded, some people left out, some people ignored? Do you have little cliques in your church which exclude others and spread gossip? What about families? Many churches say, we're a family-friendly church. But if you look up to the mirror, is that actually true? How do you feel when children are running around playing and laughing during services? Do we smile and get involved, or do we tut and go, shh, stop making so much noise? Are there toys and activities for families? Are our services all age rather than the traditional hymn sandwich that we prefer? What about people with additional needs? Do we do everything that we can to enable them to access the life of the church? Or do we expect them to adapt to us? Do we expect the people who come through the door to change to our ways rather than us being welcoming and helping them to be part of the church? The mirror, as I've said, is a harsh one. It challenges us to think about the ways that we are hypocrites. Nobody likes to be called a hypocrite, but we are all guilty of it at times. The ways in which what we say and what we do don't match. It's a challenge for us as we start the new connectional year to look at our chapels, to look at ourselves, to look at our rituals, the things we do week by week, day by day, and ask ourselves, why are we doing it? Why do we do it that way? And if the answer is because we've always done it that way, is this still the best way to do this, or the right way to do this? Is what we say about ourselves and about our churches actually true? Can it be seen in our actions as well as in our words? I encourage us all this week, whenever we wash our hands or look in a mirror, to look a little deeper than the surface, to examine our hearts, our minds, our rituals, the things that are on at the inside. Do any of those things make us hypocrites? What do we need to change? Is it an attitude of our hearts? Is it a ritual that we keep doing? And once we've decided that something makes us a hypocrite, we need to do something about it. Otherwise, people who are not in our church will look at us and see hypocrites, not God's family. They will see pointless rituals that have lost their meaning, not the love of God. It is a quite hard message to end the year on, but it's a challenge for the new year to be an open, welcoming church, to cast away those things that we say, but we don't actually do, to make changes for the better so that more people are welcome inside. We're going to sing a song now that I confess whenever chapel's asked to sing it, I always feel uncomfortable. I don't really like choosing this song. It's not because I dislike the song, the lyrics, or the tune, but because people sing it, and I don't always believe that we mean every word. As we sing it together, I encourage you to reflect in its mirror as you sing what it's saying about you, us, the church. Can we sing it and truly mean it? What needs to change so that we aren't hypocrites when we do sing it together? I would love for us all to sing it and mean every single word. Let us build a house where love can dwell, where children and prophets are heard, where divisions are ended, where we dare to follow God's vision, even if it means we change, where there is both peace and justice, where strangers and outcasts are truly family, and where everyone is known by name. We sing together, let us build a house where love can dwell.